The last thing I want to talk about is why are we futzing around with this? All of this stuff is certainly better suited for a stats class, hardcore, let's do ANOVA and all of its variants. But I bring it up here because it's one of the areas that I think you can add the most value with comparatively little effort. Data Robot uses binning and one-hot encoding for almost everything it does in its pre-processing steps. It, of course, has other tools and other things it can do, but it really likes those two approaches. But you, as someone who understands how these algorithms work, and someone who understands a little bit of the real-world domain that you're applying them in, can come up with something better than just one-hot encoding. You can make meaningful group comparisons. So, first class versus everyone else. It gives you a best. It allows you to manually specify what interactions matter so that you're only looking at ones that you think have a real-world reason to matter instead of just trying all of them and hoping for the best. It lets you come up with more tangible suggestions based on how you have chosen your coding, and based on how you can interpret the weights, or the weights and the interactions and all of that. Having access to this information lets you deliver value that this super awesome, amazing tool cannot figure out on its own. Now, that's obviously important on its own, but it's also important because it helps give you some sense of what Data Robot or what these automated tools are good at and what they are not. They are good at applying the same heuristic, the same rule all the time. They can say, let's make 50 different possible rules for making 10 bins. Find out which one is best, keep that one. They can say, let's give everyone a one-hot encoding. But they don't have any way of saying, well, these are both demographic characteristics. I bet they're correlated, so we need to handle that ahead of time. They don't have a way of saying, I think that one of the categories in here is more interesting than the others, so I'm going to make that one come out in isolation for one of my categorical predictors, just so I can be clear on what that one is, to know if that's better than all of the rest, or different from all of the rest. And while an algorithm can absolutely generate all of the possible contrast codings for ordinal categoricals, even specifying whether it's ordinal or not is considered so unimportant or so beyond the scope of the work that Data Robot doesn't give you that option. Alteryx doesn't give you that option. Most databases won't give you that option. And it's something that you know and you can use, even though not a lot of heavy research attention has gone into it. Because it's, in the grand scheme of things, probably not going to be as useful as something that's completely generic. But you're not using it in a completely generic setting. You're using it in a context with a lot of extra information. So that's why we're going over all of this, because it's how you can deliver value that algorithms cannot, or that tools cannot. Because that's what's going to keep you having a job and valuable to your organization, even when robots take over everyone else's job.